can see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Friday, September 20th, 2024, and this is episode 778 of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee's strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today we're enjoying some more FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com, where you can get 10% off with the discount code LOTS10, and the shipping is always free. Ooh. While you're there, check out the C4 Club. It's Friday, so let's strap on the tinfoil hats and hit the TikTok for the most recent conspiracies. It's going to be a lively discussion, so grab some coffee and let's get to it. But first, let's check in with the coffee crew in the live chat, see who's hanging out. Oh, hold on, guys. Hold on. My zappity zap zapper just got a notification that my stream fund over on zap.stream needs to be topped up. So I'm going to take care of that real quick. If you're haven't been on zap.stream, don't know what that is the service that I use to stream over to Nostr every day. You can find the Nostr stream at zap.stream. It's listed there with all the live the streams currently live and previous streams that are up and recorded. And you can also, if you're using Nostr, you can go to the Amethyst app if you're on Android and you use Amethyst, and they have all the live streams actually in the bottom row on the bottom tab of the Amethyst app. There's a little, I think it's the fourth one over, fourth little icon over. It's got a little dot with parentheses around it, kind of like the radio signal. And you click on that, and there's a tab for live, and it should show up. So let's hit the live chat. Canadian Farmstead over in the vertical feed, which is actually vertical today. I remembered to hit that setting before we started. Yesterday when I went to try to do it after the fact, you cannot change the orientation. Guys, you can't change your orientation. Just go with it. But we got it right today. We got the vertical feed up and rolling. We'll see if that pops off at all. Canadian Farmstead over there asking if it's Conspiracy Friday, and he got his answer. So yay. Over in the main feed, we got an off-grid ping. Off-grid ping actually submitted one of the ideas that I tinkered with this week for Conspiracy Friday. Canadian Farmstead popping up everywhere. He's back over in the vertical feed. Good morning. Thank God it's Friday. Can't work another day with this slave driver, Mrs. Joe Blakesley. Michael Williams, welcome to the show. You are definitely welcome in the audience here with a comment like that. Is there anything I can do for you to Mrs. Joe Blakesley when Mr. or Mrs. I don't know. So I don't know if you were affectionately referring to Joe's wife or you're referring to Joe himself as Mrs. But if there's anything I can do for you when he's out down here in Tennessee, let me know. We can rough him up for you. We can make sure he doesn't crack the whip too much. And if it's Mrs. Joe Blakesley, I'm gonna have to defer that to Mr. Joe Blakesley because ain't gonna hit no women. So Joe all of a sudden cancels his trip to SRF. Good morning, Pip. How we doing? Cheers to you also. Pip says he got my order from Food Forest Farms Coffee this morning. Coworker number 4 is calling dibs on the rest of the pot. What are you drinking? What are you drinking over there, Pip? What did you get in the cup? I have the remnants of a bag of FTO Blonde Espresso. I've been rolling through it. I got my C4 package yesterday, and man, I really can't say enough about the C4 Club. about the C4 Coffee Club. I got my package yesterday. I've been working with Brian for a long time. Brian's a sponsor of the show. Brian is a sponsor of the show. I've been a member of his coffee club for, longer than I've been on the road. So it's been that long. I think it was probably longer than the podcast. Maybe right about the time the podcast started. He's come on as a sponsor later on. But yesterday I opened up my package. And I got my normal. I got my awesome variety of Food Forest Farm blends. He sent me some Clyde blend. He sent me some Ethiopian. He sent me some Silver Bullet, some Silver Bullet blend. But I'm digging through the package, and I got a new mug. I gotta flip the light down. I have to thank Brian at Food Forest Farms for sending me out one of the 500 Project Coffee Club back when we were shooting for 500 members, and now we're down to 100 because that'll make it work. But Food Forest Farms 500 Club, new coffee mug on the table for the show in the morning. So Bitcoin mug is going to go into our tote that travels back and forth to the cabin and back and sticks with the coffee supplies. So nice. Appreciate that, Mr. Norton, and enjoy your weekend with the kids dancing in Ohio or wherever you were headed. Blakesley Akers says, nah, he's fucking either me. Joke's on him, though. I see a fault in payroll next week. Oh, no. I don't know if you can publicly say that as a business owner with your employee. Dude, I got to fuck up your paycheck next week. It'll be an accident. Conspiracy theory number 1 for Conspiracy Theory Friday. Joe Blakesley goes to jail for payroll fraud after outing himself on live stream. Michael says, no, it's Joe for sure. His wife brings breakfast sandwiches. I mean, food. The classic appeasement of the laborer is always food. It's the pizza party. It's the breakfast sandwiches. Now get the fucking work. I don't care if you want to go to sleep because your stomach's busting at the seams. Get back to work. And he requests that I kick Joe in the dick for him. I'll see what I can do. Well, at least he's nice and short because I'm getting old in my hips and everything, and I can't high kick as much as I used to. So if you were working for Backwoods Butcher, I might not be able to reach him. But since Joe's a midget, I'll be able to catch him in the nads. Pip says, in the cup is a medium Guatemalan, Costa Rican, Colombian, Ethiopian mix. And some new reading material. Brian's good about the books and other things. Wait. Hold on. I gotta stop and think about this for a second. Pip, you're telling me you got bags of Guatemalan, Costa Rican, Colombian, and Ethiopian, and you mix them together, or was this a done by a professional? Because I do that as a bob French press, the bottom of the bags. When I don't have enough to make a full, I save them all up and mix them together and get a mystery pot. Oh, professional mix. Okay. All right. It was mixed by the Roastmaster. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Never mind. I'll save the heart attack from for now. Canadian Farm said Joe works his workers half as hard as he works himself. He must be a slave driver. Yeah, that dude's doing a lot. He's doing a lot for sure. Good morning, John Palmer, and good day to you. You're 9 minutes late. You set a precedent now, and now you're 9 minutes late. Cormac Harkin coming in from across the pond. Appreciate you, sir. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday, guys. Friday. Not going to rain this weekend, so we're going to be heading out to the cabin. We're going to be working on the property. I am on a hard deadline countdown to work days. Putting together lists of things that just need to be done before we have a bunch of people show up to go to Lincoln Scully to do some work. Yesterday, I got a ton of weed eating done, string trimming, trails, campsites. For tenting and the such. I also scoped out some more potential sites that'll be easily cleaned up and cleared out if more folks show up than anticipated, which that kind of usually happens. I try to get a good list. You prepare, and then you prepare for 10% more or 20% more. So I got an eye on a couple spots. We also have our area that we're going to be putting our cabin that people can sack out in, and so that's good. But definitely a list of stuff to be done before the event, and that's coming up in like 9 days or something now. Let me see. We got counting today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was close. 12 days. I guess when I was counting the days, it was till Monday and driving out the week. So excited to see everybody. Excited to have the work day. That's always fun when a group of people come together from the community and the magic internet friends meet in real life, and we do exist. And the best part is we usually have the same harmony and coexistence as we do in all the groups and the chats and the online interactions and all of that. When we come together as a group, we get a shitload of things done. We seem to always have a super good vibe. People get together, or people enjoy their company and always get along. So always excited to see the folks that have been around before and the new folks showing up, except Joe. I take him or leave him. I mean, he's probably just like every other redneck farmer in Western New York. You met him one, you met them all. So, Michael, I would be happy to kick him in the balls for you. Definitely. Are you guys cutting beef right now? Has he got you? I mean, it is 7:15 over there in New York. Has he got you trimming on the beef, or what's he got you doing right now? Get off your phone. Get back to work. Canadian Farm says math is hard. 12 is more than fingers. I got my shoes off, dude. I got up to 20 right now. I got up to 20. Let's take it to the list. Let's take it to the conspiracy theory list for the week. This was a challenge this week. TikTok is really slowed down on the conspiracies. And I don't know if I shouldn't say they've slowed down on. They've slowed down on any real quality. And maybe that's because I've already covered them all after a dozen Fridays in a row. I don't even know how many it's been, but it seems to be a little thin. I don't watch TikTok as much as I used to. I've been trying to stay off of social media as much as possible. I mean, as much as possible. But Fridays, I usually dig in pretty hard while I'm doing laundry and sitting there waiting. And then throughout the week, I'll hit it here and there. And I always bookmark anything that seems interesting. Blakesley Akers says, yes, we are cutting beef, actually. What do you do with the wiener? And the butthole. Are there special things that you can do with the wieners and the buttholes of the beef when you cut them? Just curious. They always said that hot dogs were lips and assholes. Do you save the beef and the pig lips and the buttholes for making hot dogs? There's a conspiracy for you. But anyway, TikTok is running out of steam, and I don't know if they're censoring them. I don't know if they're just not making it into my feed, or when I do my searches, if they're not showing up. I don't know. I don't know, but just looking through, it took some digging. Let's say that. And then, like I said earlier, Jamie Off-Grid Ping shot me an idea, a realization or a possible conspiracy theory that I looked into a little bit, and we'll talk about that. Canadian Farmstead says, "Waste not, want not." Canadian Farmstead says he says they quotes don't want you to see those videos, Brian. Yeah, that's the biggest TikTok conspiracy theory of them all, is I'm being shadow banned from the conspiracy theories because all 8 people watching right now might learn something. Oh man. Anyway, we can hit the list and see what we got. Excuse me. First off, let's say all green and go. Green is good to go. Bitcoin price right at the moment, as of 6:13 a.m. on September 20th, is $63,595 fiat dollars per Bitcoin. And down here, I got my PIVX tracker, which I'm learning more and more about PIVX daily from my friends Norman and Herschel, and we're sitting at 22.5 cents on the PIVX. To the moon. Canadian Farmstead says, to the moon. Ray Grignard, I don't need to tell you about your vehicle. And SVN over on the vertical feed, good morning from the UAE. How's it going in the UAE, the United Arab Emirates? You know, that's a pretty nice place to visit sometimes. Joe will be composting the beef schlong. I heard it was like the tongue. I've never tried it, but I heard you can cook the beef schlong like a tongue, and it is lovely. What is your SBN? Before you take off, make sure you hit that the subscribe and the like. Think about joining a membership. Hit a super chat. But I want to know what your favorite part of the United Arab Emirates is. If you had to pick one thing you like about the United Arab Emirates, see, we're a very cultural show here. We're exploring worldly cultures as we dive in, and before we get to the conspiracy theories. Canadian Farmstead says, to cook the schlong well, you need to boil the piss out of it. Oh, SBN with a thing that I wouldn't have expected. I was going to say the beautiful views, the rich culture, the great economy. He says it's the safety, or she. I don't know. Probably I don't know. SBN is a pretty ambiguous name. Oh, okay. SBN says, I'm an American lady. The safety is the best part. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stopped by. Appreciate it, and hope you stick around. It is kind of cheeky and no filter around here, so don't be offended. It's all in good fun. Pip says, holding the little pinky out while talking about beef dicks. Right. So I do remember that about this cup is I can only get 3 fingers in, and ceramic won't stretch if you treat it right. Canadian Farmstead in the main feed says, hey, SVN, be sure you turn down the volume or you might end up arrested, and the safety won't be your favorite thing about the UAE anymore. Oh, man. All right, first on the list. Did you hear about the book the Adam and Eve story? The title is The Adam and Eve Story, The History of Cataclysms by Chan Thomas. SVN asks, where else am I streaming? I have vertical feed there that you're in that runs in the shorts feed. I also have a main feed horizontal on YouTube under the same channel, and then I'm streaming to Noster. I don't know if you know what Noster is, and Twitch. So Noster is a protocol, a censorship-free protocol that's kind of up and coming. John Palmer says, I thought that was the Bible. Well, I mean, it's similar. It's an interesting book. In 1966, Chan Thomas wrote a book called The Adam and Eve Story, The History of Cataclysms. Immediately, the CIA class, and this is all conjecture. This is like, I read into this a little further, and the deeper I dive, it doesn't sound like the CIA actually classified it. I'm not sure. So it's weird because they say in one breath that they didn't classify it, but then I saw a copy of the actual Freedom of Information Act that that people use to get it declassified, to get it released. And it says the article I found that seemed to have the most like not craziness in it is was saying that the CIA released 57 pages of the 284 page book. So this book basically tells the story of all the cataclysmic events throughout history. And I don't know how this Chan Thomas became an authority on that. I don't think that some dude sitting around in 1966 like had divine visions of what happened throughout the history of the world. But from what I see, basically it links all the cataclysmic events throughout the history of the world, and ties them all together and why they happened, what actually happened. He looked into, like the story of Atlantis and Noah and the Ark and the Aztecs and the Great Flood, and they all they happened all over the world with people that didn't have any connection between them. So he like connected the dots. And I don't know if it was supposed to be a fiction book or if it was nonfiction, but CIA took interest, supposedly. The weird part is when they released the 56 pages of the 284 page book, it was super redacted, very sanitized. Obviously, they cut out more than a quarter of the book, or more than 3/4 of the book. Miss Vicky, off your rocker this morning? Hey, yeah, I am off my rocker every fucking morning. Every morning. Especially Fridays, though, because Fridays we talk about conspiracy theories from TikTok. Thank you for stopping, Miss Vicky. So they released a completely sanitized version of the book for the Freedom of Information Act. But from what this said, a lot of what was redacted was what's coming next. Hey, SVN, welcome to the full feed. The coffee crew's hanging out over here. Good luck with that. Good luck. Canadian Farm says TikTok's the last bastion of truth, right? So I don't know about this book. There wasn't a whole lot of information to find in the Freedom of Information Act. Basically, the guy told the story of all the cataclysmic events, but it's believed that the redacted portions of this are going to tell us what's going to happen, and the government is hiding it from us. So if you could find it, you might want to take a look at the Chan Thomas's The Adam and Eve Story, The History of Cataclysms. Be interesting. Could be interesting. I'll try to find out more about that going forward. But that was just one of the very thin topics, like I told you. Another one that popped up right there on my TikTok feed was an interesting theory about rush hour traffic and traffic jams. This TikTok user, and I can't remember what her name was, but she's thinking that that traffic jams are caused on purpose. What? That that people are paid to back up traffic. People are paid to slow down traffic at rush hour every morning and afternoon. People are paid to do this, and you know, I understand where she's coming from. I've driven many times and sat in traffic for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. And then all of a sudden the car starts moving and you roll along and you're like looking for construction, you're looking for an accident, you're looking for any sign of anything that could have actually slowed the traffic down, and there's nothing. That's happened plenty of times. I've also tried to wrap my head around traffic patterns. It's something I just can't grasp, where why does free-flowing traffic slow down and come to a dead stop and then start again and stop again? SVN there's no logical thinking around here on Fridays. SVN, you can't point out the obvious. Says, I mean, labor being concentrated from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. is definitely caused on purpose. John Palmer says it's caused by stupid people. Pip says, get out of the left lane. Meanwhile, the driver is getting overtime for effing everyone up. So her theory was the government causes traffic jams, causes accidents, causes traffic backups, causes rush hour on purpose. And this mission is funded by big oil and big pharma, keeping people sitting on the highway on their way to and from work, burns gas, and makes people pissed off, so they want to take antidepressants. Canadian Farmstead says AI controlled traffic lights to facilitate moving across the city. Maybe. Corey and I recently watched Hackers, and from the 90s, you know, the movie Hackers. Fantastic movie. That scene where he's trying to get away from the cops and he hacks into the traffic lights and the city goes sideways. Pip says, I believe that. How else do you traffic lights cycle for crossroads with no cars? And Canadian Farmstead agrees with me on Hackers. It is a great movie. It is. I saw it. I was like, Corey, you ever seen Hackers? She's like, I don't know. I said, put it on the list. Put it on the list. Anyway, guys, I got an email actually the other day that has changed. Oh, shit. My goddamn buzzer's on. It's changed, and I might be starting to share. I can't share. So here's a conspiracy theory for you. It's not a conspiracy. It's true. I get emails from Amazon as part of the Amazon influencer program and the associate program. And it's all classified, confidential, or whatever they say. Like, I'm not allowed to share the shit in the emails. Let's just say that I might be starting to share movie and TV show links from Amazon Prime. Maybe what we watched the night before or something. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how that's going to roll. SVN says to Canadian Farmstead, just saw your earlier comment, and this interests me too. It says, I live in a country where weather modification is openly promoted and admitted as in the New World Order. Yeah. The weather modification shit is pretty insane. Were you there for that torrential downpour rain thing event where the that was in the UAE, right? Dubai's in the UAE, right? Am I what's up, Diggs, by the way? What's up? Were you there for that big ass rainstorm where the cars were floating and shit like that? That was caused by cloud seeding, I'm pretty sure. SVN was there for the big flood, said it was wild. Yeah. And okay, see, I don't have my Middle Eastern culture, geography, or political geographical things in a. I don't know. I've never really dove in too far. SBN confirms that Dubai is one of the Emirates of the UAE. So the Emirates must be like our states. Is that kind of similar? And there's no conspiracy theory on cloud seeding in the UAE. It's just like on the Weather Channel. So get ready for rain tomorrow. Be sure you have your boats at work because we're going to flood the streets with our overseeding. Jamie says I tried to download Adam and Eve book I just talked about and made it as far as page 1. Instant nope. Oh. All right. Well, guys, you learned something this morning. The United Arab Emirates, the Emirates are like states, and Dubai is one of them. And SVN was over. SVN was there during the great flood of, I think that was like 2023-ish, where they flooded the streets after they seeded the clouds and it rained for. Hey, it sounds like maybe in the book, The History of Adam and Eve, that maybe they were cloud seeding before Noah needed the ark. Good morning, Hunter. Good morning. Good morning, Hunter. Such bullcrap this morning. Don't deal with the bullcrap, man. Just move on along with your day. Pip says knowledge is power. The more you know, go Joe. Oh, all right. So Rush Hour is funded by the government, or is perpetrated by the government and funded by big oil and big pharma. That was number 2 on the list. Oh, it was spring. It was spring 2024. Okay. See, timelines in my head get rough. Yeah, they all blend together at this age. Said it was in the spring of year they accidentally seeded a monsoon. Yeah, it was crazy. The videos of that shit was nuts. Pip says, and the other half is violence. Violence. I'm excited to chat with Sonny Pazukis at I think that's how you say his last name. He's probably gonna kick my ass if I don't learn how to say his last name. But Sonny Pazukis is and the Ministry of Violence will be at SRF, and I think I'm gonna end up getting to interview him on the SRF live stream. This dude's story is nuts. I talked to him just a few minutes in passing the last time he was there, but solid individual for sure. Canadian Farmstead says, what part of the world didn't get rain because they seeded and so much came down there? Canadian Farmstead, you don't own the rain, man. This isn't like everybody gets a chance to get rain. If the UAE can figure out how to seed clouds and flood their whole fucking country, good for them. Maybe you should figure out cloud seeding. You don't own the clouds. Oh, next on the list. You guys want to talk about McDonald's? Specifically, Specifically their French fries. Specifically their French fries. So video popped up, and it was a guy giving a lecture, and I had heard this before. I had heard that. Well, thank you, SVN. SVN, one of the quality individuals in this world, says your channel is great, man. Oh man. So I had heard about this stuff with McDonald's before. Video pops up, it's a guy giving a lecture talking about some of the fucked up practices that companies have and the things they do to get what they want. And this one was about McDonald's and their French fries. So McDonald's iconic food, the French fry, in the red box with the M on it and the fries coming out and making a big bouquet of fries coming out. Well, in order for the French fries to make it out of the box, McDonald's has set a very, very John Palmer says that brings SPN's judgment into question, that she thinks this is great channel. Thanks, asshole. Can you toot the horn on the truck today for me? Toot the horn for me. So McDonald's, in order to get those beautiful fries, Pip says Black Rock. I almost went down a Black Rock hole today. I couldn't parse out the information and keep it straight in my head enough. But basically, it's like the question at the beginning of this theory, and the dude is really good. Was who owns Black Rock? Like literally, who owns Black Rock? I put it on the list. I saved it. I gotta dig in more for sure. Hey, SVN with a super chat. Toot to you. What is an AED? Is that an Arab Emirates dinar? See, I have a little bit of worldly culture in me. I know that a lot of the currencies in the Middle East are dinar. I actually have a envelope full of Iraqi dinar. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how many I have. It may be one. It's actually the new Iraqi dinar. If you know, you know. Dirham. God damn it. I thought I was going to be right. Could you petition the UAE to change the name of the currency to the dinar? SVN knows it, says I have a paper penny. Yeah. I had a buddy brings back a bunch of shit from overseas at one time, so that was a long time ago. So McDonald's needs specific things to get their product. And I understand this as being someone that has sold products off the farm, ships products through the mail. Consistency is key. You want to be able to give the customers Canadian Farm says you were almost smart. And 25,000 Iraqi dinars currently $19.99. And if you order now, we'll throw in some free sand. Maybe someday Iraq will get their shit together and my dinar will be worth something. So you want consistency in your product. You want your French fries to be the same. You want them to be long, beautiful golden brown. So McDonald's has set out some standards for the potatoes, and yeah, they make them out of potatoes, kind of. They've set some standards for the potatoes that they use. Canadian Farm says to stop meddling, and they just might, because I'm responsible for the weapons of mass destruction, and Bush Jr., baby Bush, heading on over there and occupying, fucking the whole thing up. I mean, I guess if baby Bush didn't go to Iraq, I wouldn't have my dinar, because the Saddam's dinar would still be there. So McDonald's has set out some specific standards for their potatoes. Russet Burbank potatoes. You've seen them in the store. They're long. Oh my Jesus. SVN bringing in some breaking news says, you want the dirt on Iraq currently? They changed their marriage age to 9 to cover up the fact they released ISIS fighters from prison on the border of Syria. Fantastic! It's election season here in the U.S. Maybe we'll have some fireworks. Russet. Back to potatoes. We got pedophilia, potatoes, Syria, dinars, and cloud seeding on this morning's show. AI will have fun writing the social post for that. So russet Burbank potatoes, long potatoes, makes sense. So when you cut them, they're nice, long, skinny French fries. The fucked up part about russet Burbank potatoes is they get this shit called net necrosis. Net necrosis. Jamie knows where I'm going with this. Net necrosis is where you get brown spots in the potatoes. Everybody's cut up a potato and there's a brown line through it, a brown dot in it. And McDonald's can't have this in their fries. I mean, visually, it's just unappetizing, I guess. I don't know, because McDonald's is so appetizing to begin with. But anyway, aphids cause this stuff called net necrosis. So what McDonald's has figured out, or I guess the farmers in Idaho that grow this shit, they figured out that this stuff called monitor, this chemical called monitor, and it sounds like, you know, all the talk of Roundup and the Roundup settlement and all that shit, how nasty Roundup is for you. Monitor would make Roundup look like Kool-Aid and not the Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Flavor Aid. It was actually Flavor Aid, guys. It's not Kool-Aid. But anyway, this monitor shit that they spray on the potatoes for McDonald's, both to kill the aphids and it also preserves them after harvest. It's said that the farmers in Idaho that put this shit on the crops won't go in the fields for 5 days after it's sprayed. And then when they harvest the shit, it has to sit in these buildings, in these climate controlled huge buildings, for 6 weeks before they can be edible. For the chemicals to supposedly dissipate out of they've determined that this chemical that kills everything that it touches and causes all sorts of fucked up shit, it just dissipates in 6 weeks. Don't worry. We'll just pile up our potatoes in a pile for 6 weeks and hope that we're right on it and we're not. Oh wait, McDonald's poisoning people. Weird. SVN says, how many of us in here are farmers or were farmers? I ran a homestead in Minnesota for 7 years ish. And currently I'm setting up I'm partnering with a guy, and I don't have a partner, guys. I have a wife. I'm partnering on a project with a guy, developing a off-grid permaculture retreat education center nursery all in one, on 15 acres of raw land in Tennessee. Hunter says, reminds me of the Folgers coffee. The Folgers coffee isn't to get rid of the chemicals. The Folgers coffee is just to make it stale so the packages don't explode. Yeah. So next time you roll into McDonald's and you order those big, old, beautiful golden fries, just remember, the potatoes they came from, the farmers wouldn't touch them for 5 days after they sprayed, and they had to sit for 6 weeks for the shit to dissipate out. So SVN says Tennessee. Well, where in Tennessee are you from, SVN? And how the hell did you end up in the United Arab Emirates from Tennessee? Doesn't seem like the same type of people. Right now I'm in Southwest Tennessee, right along the Tennessee River, kind of near Savannah and the Mississippi border. That's where we're hanging out and working on that property. So McDonald's, guys, don't eat the shit. Even as fast food, there's better options. Even if you're going to get fast food, there's better options than McDonald's. So stay away from the monitor. Here's one. Oh, near Knoxville. I got friends over in Knoxville that I talk to regularly and hang out with. They come across the state to do work. So interesting. Cool. Well, thanks again for stopping by. I appreciate having you here. So you guys here, we got I got Jamie's topic that I want to touch on for sure. But then we have 2 choices. Do you guys want to talk about JonBenet Ramsey or a theory about what God is? Or the Chattanooga Ring of Fire? SVN says, funny enough, I came here as a farm consultant for regenerative agriculture, specifically automation of regenerative ag. Hey, really nice to have you here. That's kind of our whole community. Regenerative ag, permaculture, self-sufficiency, homesteading, things like that. Canadian Farm says, I want to hear more from SVN. Yeah, me too. Yeah, no, you're all right. You're all right. The audience sidetracks this fucking show every day. Don't worry about it. But no, we should stay in contact. We should talk sometime. Maybe an interview. You can email me at info@thelotsproject.com. Here, I'll put it in the comments. No, I'm not going to put it in the comments. Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. You motherfuckers sign me up for spam lists. I'm going to lose my shit. The spam filter on this one is rough, though, so you're good. You're good. Shoot me an email, and we'll talk. We'll talk. Appreciate you. SVN, the new person, SVN says he wants to hear about JonBenet Ramsey. All right. We'll hit JonBenet Ramsey. Something I saw that was a little interesting in passing here. And the best part about it, oh yeah, there's Telegram group too. Do you use Telegram, SVN? Telegram, you can go to telegram.com/lotschat, LOTSCHAT. Lots chat. You'll have to sit in a little waiting queue until I get around to approving all the memberships. But if you use Telegram, you can check that out, or find me all across socials. We'll get you on. We'll get you on the show. So JonBenet Ramsey, if you don't know who it is, I've talked about her on the show before with a conspiracy theory that actually Katy Perry is JonBenet Ramsey, which is kind of plausible. Like I could roll with that. The evidence that was laid out, the timelines, the look, the like everything. That was an interesting road to go down. So that's when I first saw the picture, I flipped through the TikTok, I flip it up and it's got a picture of JonBenet Ramsey, and I almost flipped past it because I'm like, oh, this is another Katy Perry, a Katy Perry. Hunter says, is that the kid pageant girl that disappeared? Yeah, the little blonde girl that they manipulated and used for the parents' benefit, and then she's killed and disappeared. Sweet, appreciate you, SVN. I'll get that email later. So I thought it was going to be another JonBenet Ramsey, Katy Perry, blah blah blah. I've seen that one a million times. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I'm glad I watched it because this was talking about JonBenet Ramsey. There was a picture of her relatively soon before she died, back in 1996, died, disappeared, whatever actually happened to her. There was a picture that people were looking at, and there was somebody, Canadian Farm says, I signed you up for the Democratic and Republican mailing list. I appreciate you. I need to stay up to date on my kabuki theater. There was a picture of JonBenet Ramsey at one of her pageants, and there was somebody in the background of the picture that SVN signed me up for Grindr. You didn't. I was already signed up. You haven't been around this show long enough. I had to sign up to scope out all the profiles of everybody in my audience. So there's this picture of JonBenet Ramsey relatively soon before she ends up dying. And there's somebody in the background that it was interesting to me. You know that guy that didn't kill himself in prison? You know, the guy had an island. SVN says that's how you find all the sexiest senators. Right? John Palmer says she ended up on an island. Yeah. In the background of one of the JonBenet Ramsey pictures, in her last months of being alive, there's a woman who looks very, very similar to Mr. Epstein's girlfriend, Giselle Maxwell. And I was like, huh, interesting. So I looked at the picture. I was like, I could see this. And this would bode well for the Katy Perry thing, where, you know, they take her as a little girl, they take her and groom her, they put her on the island, they use her as a hostess, flying back and forth. And then as she gets a little too old to be of interest of those fucking pedophiles, they made her into a pop star. I can't say that like I would be shocked if this was a true story. They don't like them any older than, 12, 13 years old. So I was like, this is interesting. This is interesting. There was no connection. Like, she was just in a picture in the background. But then I looked a little further, and there's this interesting connection between Joan Benet Ramsey and Giselle Maxwell. SBS says, so Joan Benet is in Mossad. Happy Friday. So it goes a little further than this. After Joan Benet Ramsey disappeared, or they found her dead, I don't know. There's like conflicting reports as I was reading this, that one, they found her in a suitcase in the basement, and then others, they didn't find her. Like, I think this was part of the whole scenario. Mr. Ramsey, Daddy Ramsey, hired a law firm called Haddon, Morgan, and Foreman. Maybe it was Patty Foreman. To look deeper into the child abduction. Haddon, Morgan, and Foreman was a very prominent law firm in Denver that specialized in child abduction and trafficking rackets. Now, you would say it makes sense that her dad hired Haddon, Morgan, and Foreman to check into this abduction of their daughter. Why wouldn't you hire someone that specializes in child abduction and trafficking rackets? Now, this is where it gets interesting. So there's this chick named Laura Menninger. Laura Menninger works for Haddon, Morgan, and Foreman. She was actually very involved in the Joan Benet Ramsey case, from what I can tell. Guess who is one of Laura Menninger's best friends? Take a wild guess. And how creepy. Oh, here. If you didn't guess, it's Giselle Maxwell. Giselle Maxwell and Laura Menninger are buddies. Pretty good buddies. Now, think about what I told you that this Haddon, Morgan, and Foreman that Miss Menninger works for, what they specialize in. Child abduction and trafficking rackets. Why could Giselle Maxwell possibly want to be friends with someone that works for a law firm that specializes in child abductions and trafficking rackets? I'm not a smart man. But I'm sure SBS says Weinstein. I'm pretty sure Weinstein's in there somewhere. George W. Bush. Like that dude. I have to believe that dude was. I don't know. SBN says, just looked at the picture. Is it Giselle Maxwell or Christine Maxwell? Who's Christine Maxwell? I didn't see Christine Maxwell anywhere in this. I don't know. I can't. So here's the problem with TikTok Conspiracy Fridays is I can only look so far into these. I only have so many hours in the day. And when I get down a hot rabbit hole, boys, there's no stopping me. So I have to be very, very, very cautious of how far. Christine Maxwell, the older sister. Oh, I do recall hearing about Christine Maxwell, her older sister. Daddy started it all off, didn't he? Daddy Maxwell. Anyway, pushing up here on an hour, and I still want to get to Jamie's topic he sent me because He was right. He was right. Oh, she created and sold the world's first search engine. Interesting. Canadian Farm says there's a reason we know less about Christine. Probably. She hasn't been arrested yet. So Jamie sent me a message the other day, and he's like, hey, I got something for your Friday list. He's like, I know you like to go cemetery hunting, and if you guys didn't know, I'm a tapophile. John Palmer says Maxwell House. Is that who owns Maxwell House? Jamie says, I know you like cemeteries, so if you guys didn't know, I'm a tapophile. That's different than everybody at Epstein's. They're pedophiles. A tapophile enjoys the history, the exploration of cemeteries, headstones, the art, everything about it. Not necessarily fascinated with death, but more the cemetery itself. So I'll hop around to cemeteries, and I still stop now and then. I did have a TikTok and YouTube channel about filming headstones, but it really turned more into a burden than enjoyment, and that's when I kind of just cut it off. It wasn't fun anymore. Jamie says, as long as it's not a necrophile hanging out there. Do you know what an old age fetish and a necrophiliac, what the difference between them is? Do you know what the difference between old age fetish and a necrophiliac is? Couple months. I got to get that soundboard up and running so I can have sound bites. Hunter says a few degrees. a few is in like 80. Canadian Farm says 6 months. Depends on how old of an age fetish you have. So Jamie sends me a message, and he's like, hey, I got something for your list. He says, why haven't there been any new cemeteries? Why aren't there new cemeteries opening up all over the place? And why does it seem that none of the old cemeteries are filling up? He also said, have you ever noticed or wondered why there's so many cement factories near crematoriums? And my mind just kind of went, wait a second. So full disclaimer, my favorite cemeteries are the oldest of the old. My deal is finding cemeteries where I can find the oldest headstone, and then look at the cemetery as a whole and look at the different sections and the different dates. And if you observe enough and you're into patterns and figuring puzzles out, I would walk around a cemetery and find the different sections of the cemetery that had different dates on them. And depending on how many headstones there were, or maybe there was a lot of kids, or maybe there was a lot of adults, I would contemplate why. And then a lot of the times I would take notes while I was there, and I would come back and research that time in that area. Was there the Spanish flu, or maybe a tornado, or like, why were there more dead people at this time? SVN says, because no one can afford to be buried, the poor can only afford to be cremated. John Palmer says cremation is more popular. Hunter brings up Bluebell ice cream, which I've never had. Is in Mesquite, Texas, is next door to a crematorium. Off grid pin got to work. All right, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a great day. Thanks for the topic idea. So when Jamie sent me that topic, I was like, huh. Come to think of it, I've never seen a grand opening of a cemetery. Has anybody recently known of someone that's been person number one buried in a cemetery? Have you been by a cemetery that is said it was established in like 2020, 2023, 2020, 2015, 20 year 2000? I've been to a lot of cemeteries. I don't know if I've seen one that said it was established, past like 1960s. Canadian Farmstead said I saw an addition to one recently. I don't think that counts. That's not a new cemetery. That's an expansion of a regular cemetery. But I was like, I mean, how much room does a grave take up? So I started to try to think about this critically. And this is the process I went through. I was like, well, if they have 20 acres, if they have 5 acres, like how big is a casket and a headstone? It was like, what is it? 3 feet wide by, like 8 feet long. I haven't gone shopping for burial plots, but like, what is the legitimate dimensions of a burial plot? And then if you extrapolate that out and think about how many of those you could put on, say, 10 acres, that's a lot of people. But then I realized I was thinking rural. I'm in this mindset. So since 2015, I've lived very rural. And now I'm in a very rural area, and we traveled around in the camper for a while, and we didn't really go to any cities. So the cemeteries and things that I was visiting were all rural. And then I started digging into it a little bit. I had a conversation with ChatGPT about it. I kind of did some Googling, and yes, it came up with cremation's more popular. But they brought up the fact that cities with dense populations, the amount of people dying we couldn't sustain that. Now, I like SVN's point that no one can afford to be buried. The poor can only afford to be cremated. Right. So is that where the way it's going? Canadian Farmstead says some countries double up graves after a time, like 40 years or something. I saw that as a theory in here. No one really had an answer. I didn't really find a satisfying answer to the question. SVN says, remember you're going to fit in here really well. What time is it over there in the United Arab Emirates? Is this the Lots Project evening show for you? Says, remember the mass graves during COVID in New York? That's what cities do when too many poor people die. They throw your ass in a pit. Right. So I didn't really get any definitive answers. John Palmer, always quick with an internet search with a question for my question, says, normal grave plots are between 72 inches and 90 inches long. Wait a second. I got to get one of those extra long 90 inches because I'm over 72 inches just by me. They'd have to cut me up to put me in there. Oh, it's 4 p.m. Oh, perfect time to watch this show. Any time is a perfect time to watch this show. Hunter says, I hope to be the first in a new cemetery. We can help you out with that, buddy. So they're 72 inches to 90 inches long and between 30 inches and 34 inches wide. Oh, it's a half day on Monday or half day on Friday there every week because of Muslim prayer on Friday. So this is my afternoon chill time. Well, we do this Monday through Friday. So, I mean, if you can only show up on Fridays, I get it. But we're here 5 days a week. John Palmer says they just bend my legs to make me fit. I mean, okay. All right. What about like Shaquille O'Neal? Does he get a special extra large grave plot? What about Andre the Giant? Hunter's talking about some weird incestual grave site where his aunt was first, then his grandma, and then grandpa's on top of all of them. Canadian Farmstead says, I want to be put under a young sugar maple somewhere on the property. Hunter, Jesus Christ. Hunter says he thinks there's space for his dad and his uncles. How deep did they put your aunt? Holy buckets. SVN, right along the lines of everybody in this show, says Canadian Farmstead gets under that sugar maple. Later, your family can tap into the maple and get weird with it. He is in Canada. Hey, Jacob 24/7. Hi, Bucko to you too. Thanks for popping in. Hit that like and subscribe, would you? Drop a super chat for Friday morning. We're getting ready to wrap up here. Pip wants to know if there's strippers named Sugar Maple. What a way to go. I died under a sugar maple. Sweet as could be. Sticky, though. Very sticky. Hunter says they lowered it to normal depth for the funeral. Then after most everyone left, they lowered her way down. It got a little roasty toasty when she got down there, and she's like, shit, am I in the family grave or did I do something wrong in this life? Canadian Farmstead said he definitely wouldn't tap that sugar maple. I don't know, man. I went to Niagara Falls, Canada, several times a week for a year or two, and some of the girls that could have been named Sugar Maple, I wouldn't have mind tapping. I would have definitely sanitized my tapper before, during, and after. But anyway, are the cemeteries filling up? Is everybody being cremated, or possibly a theory floated by a former participant in the chat? Are they making things out of the dead? Have you ever thought about the degradation and quality of commercially produced bacon in the store? Hunter says it's the ice cream. I mean, there was an interesting there's an interesting movie called Soylent Green, where at some point the population found out that they were eating the dead. Have we found a way to recycle our bodies? Ice cream and bacon. What other meats have you noticed a change in the past couple decades that maybe could have possibly been switched to a different protein source? John Palmer says, by the way, 4 to 6 foot deep is the average grave, and there is there's a couple of people I followed on TikTok when I was uploading the grave stuff on that account. There was a vault guy. I think his handle is actually Cemetery Vault Guy. he would just go live when he was installing grave vaults. It was interesting. Interesting to me, at least. Hunter says, look at Vanilla Bean. Those little flecks. You think they actually ground up that many beans? SBN says, so I came back to the States for the first time since COVID this year. What the fuck is wrong with y'all's meats? Okay. We have a slight confirmation. I don't know if we can call this a full-blown confirmation, but somebody that was here and left and has come back says the meat's all fucked up. Bacon like a piece of paper, eggs with shells so thin they just explode. What the fuck? Okay, all right. I'm digging this because people have talked about this, but the slow assimilation across the board, it's the boiling frog theory, which doesn't fucking compute anyway, but the visual and everybody knows the theory. Like, did we change the meat and eggs and all of that very slowly enough that people didn't notice? Mixed it in and you were like, oh, that's a bad piece. Oh, that's a bad package. And it just got more and more prevalent. Now you're like, well, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. Pip says, my body will dissolve as I ascend to a higher plane of existence, or just leave me at the side of the road to let the birds eat me. Right? Yeah. $7 Doritos. That's true. We do have that. Anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap it up for the day. I appreciate our new coffee crew person that's gonna be in the afternoon, so she probably isn't drinking coffee with us, but we'll still welcome her to the coffee crew. If you want to hang out in the morning and bullshit with us Monday through Friday, you should join the coffee crew too. Otherwise, you can help support the show a couple different ways. Membership tiers are available on YouTube. And also, you can head on over to my Amazon storefront to check out some videos and start your shopping there. I'll earn a little commission if you do that. You can find that at amazon.com/shop/The Lots Project. I appreciate that. You can hit up thelotsproject.com, find more information. That site is in the middle of an overhaul. So if it's kind of wonky and messy at the moment, no worries, but there's a bunch of recommended products and partner companies that I have there and a little bit about me. SVN's wondering that telegram.com/lotschat. You can go to Telegram and, hold on. I got a second here. I'll grab the link for you. Oh, no, sorry. It was t.me. I forget. Telegram has that weird t.me/lotschat. There it is. There's your link. t.me/lotschat is the Telegram chat. Got a bunch of great people over there. Conversations beyond your wildest dreams, topics all over the board. So hopefully you come over and have fun. So anyway, guys, it's been a good week. We'll swing into next week. We'll talk about all sorts of different stuff. As always, I hope you have a fantastic a bunch of weirdos over in the Telegram group for sure. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you get a bunch of shit done, whether that is getting your to-do list done, starting a project, making your life better for tomorrow, the next day, the next week, next year, or if you need a break and you need some rest, getting shit done doesn't always need to be getting shit done. Sometimes the getting shit done is just making yourself a little healthy. And you need to step back and take a rest. So consider that as you roll into the weekend. Do you need a little rest, or do you got a big list to pound out? Canadian Farmstead's going to put more garlic in today. Hey, you're going to be vampire free for sure for a while. Anyway, guys, have a great weekend. I hope you get it all done and circle back. We'll see you on Monday morning.
I can see the light. I can feel the sun.